What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. CFCDP here with another video for you. We are back after Chelsea defeat Gent 4-2 in the first stage of the UEFA Conference League. So, what do we have to say about that performance? Chelsea looked very, very sharp in attack yet again, scoring 3+ goals for, I believe it's the third time in a row. So really impressive performance from Chelsea from start to finish in the offense. I thought the midfield was good. Defensively, still some questions. I think it's a question that we kind of have the answer to now about a couple of defenders in particular. But I'm going to highlight Benoit Badiashile in this episode, and we'll kind of talk about what's kind of gone wrong for him, because it's definitely looking like a signing that just is not going to work out. But we'll get into that shortly. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor of this video, Cy Phillips Talks Chelsea. Simon does a very fantastic job bringing content to the Chelsea fan day after day after day. So if you go to the link in the description below, you can get linked into his Substack page, which has a lot of Chelsea content for everybody. Videos, podcasts, written, match analysis, transfer news, everything a Chelsea fan could want in one single spot. So thank you so much for that. Moving on to the game. Defensively, I just have one big question, and that's Benoit Badiashile. Benoit Badiashile is a guy that we brought in and started off really good. Passing, defensive security, he had a little bit of everything, but since getting dropped out of the squad and his talent sort of not being, matured in game time, it seems like he's really taken a step back. He's going to get opportunities to play this left-sided center back in the Conference League, Carabao Cup, but the question is, what does it mean for him long term? I think Chelsea were looking to replace him this summer. I believe that looking for a new center back was something that Chelsea was interested in. So bringing in Tosin is one thing, but if you're playing a back three, there is real no like for like replacement in that left center back role on this Chelsea team. Levi Cole is obviously the starter, but in the backup realm, it just doesn't seem like Badiashile is it to me. So that was my one negative, but there's a ton of positives from the match. I thought attacking-wise going forward, I thought Myhailo Mudryk has had his second really good start in a row, creating a lot of chances, getting his speed, and he seems to be slowing down just a little bit in terms of, the processing from ball to feet to decision, right? So I think that Mudryk is a guy that we will see off the bench quite a bit, especially, as Jadon Sancho continues to get integrated into the squad. I think Mudryk is his natural replacement over there. I think Pedro Neto, we finally have seen in these last couple of matches what he can offer. A beautiful, beautiful goal just into the roof of the net on the right-hand side, and a great cross that should have been assisted by one of the defenders that missed it. So two really strong performances out on the wing. Christopher Nkunku scores again, and I think it's just, for me with Nkunku, it's just the instinctual aspect to him. You saw the goal against Bournemouth where he's just certain of his body strength, his positioning to score a goal like that. And then furthermore, you look at this one where it's kind of a 50-50 ball, and a lot of times players would just kind of leave it, but he just powers in and just finishes it, right? Goalie probably should have saved it, but he didn't, so it's a goal. And regardless of the outcome, the action was great, instinctiveness. So Nkunku continues his hot form in front of goal. I thought Kieran Dewsbury-Hall with the goal, all in all, his performance was very, very good. I think he's a player that Chelsea fans, and I have kind of thought this too, it's like, was he a little bit of a surplus to requirements? Did we really need him? But just in the spot of minutes and performance, I thought Dewsbury-Hall had a very, very good game. I think you get a baseline performance out of Dewsbury-Hall. Like, you're going to get out of him. It's just some of that extra stuff that I think you would really want to see more often. And he showed it at Leicester, but, it's just for him about kind of being a more consistent goal threat, a more consistent action threat. So that was good. But for me, my man of the match was Renato Veiga. I think when you think about the whole Veiga signing, right, it comes off of Chelsea not going in for Calafiori, which a lot of Chelsea fans were really interested in because Calafiori had a fantastic Euros and you saw him firsthand. But Veiga, to me, is perfect for this team. He does not need to start matches in the Premier League right now. You have Cucurella to do that. But Veiga, in terms of cultivating his talent, I mean, his passing range, his security defensively, he scores a goal today, but it's all of it. He does every phase of the game very well. He can do well in inverting in the midfield. He can do well in a cleanup role in defense, and he can help you offensively as well. couple of passes from him that were just sensational, and his understanding with Mudryk on that left-hand side is something that's really, blossoming. He's definitely giving Mudryk his space to do what he needs to do, but he's giving the ball to him in a very, very advantageous position, and I think Veiga has been one of the best signings this summer for Chelsea. And we signed a lot of players, but I think Veiga, if you look 2-3 years down the road after he's kind of getting his, maturation process with this kind of B squad, so to speak, and Cucurella maybe is at a point where he needs to move on. He's been playing fine, but if it's 2-3 years down the line, I think Veiga is a guy that you can trust in that spot and say he may not give us a 10 out of 10 performance every week like he did this one, but he's going to give us a 7. He'll give us a 6. He won't be the reason why you lose. And I think when you're talking about defenders and B team players and young players, being that type of non-mistake maker is very important. So I was very impressed with Veiga. I think it's going to be a very, very good bit of business for $12 million. I would imagine that his value has risen just in the short time he's been with Chelsea, just because he's put through some pretty dang good performances. Some other players I want to highlight. João Felix, I don't think had his best game today. I think he got a little fancy with the ball sometimes, turned it over a few times, but had some good moments, had some ball, movement and whatnot. I just kind of worry, and I was sitting there watching this game, and I was watching him not come on against Brighton. He is certainly a confidence player, right? So in order to maintain that confidence, he has to have good performances. And, he scored the free kick against Barrow, which was an own goal, but, it's basically a goal for him. He scored against Wolves, but I need to see just a little bit more of that final product from him, especially in that 10 position. Now, to his, not to discredit his performance, so to speak, but I thought Gent did a very good job of kind of forcing him to drop deeper and really closing in on him when he had the space. But, you got to get past him at a certain point. So that wasn't necessarily his best performance, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Does his mentality drop? Does his attitude drop? I don't think it will, but it's just something I want to mention. And finally, I want to give a shout out to Cesare Casadei. I think being thrusted into a new role in the midfield as a holder is something that's not easy. But for a young kid who hasn't played a ton of English football or European football in that sense, to make the transition of that position when they desperately need it. Now, when Lavia is able to play and is fully fit and is in the squad, that's a guy that I could see playing that holding role. But I thought Casadei has done pretty well. They're not asking him to do too much. I would like him to keep his head up and kind of catch the ball in the half turn and look forward. There was a lot of back passing and kind of being that transition outlet in the middle. But I think overall, Casadei has done that job pretty well. And it's a learning experience for him. This competition, at the very least, while we want to win it, and I think we will because there's just not that many good teams in this, but you need to use this as a great opportunity to cultivate young talent. So when Tyreek George comes on, when Renato Veiga's on, when Casadei's on, Marguiu comes on, that's something that I really rate. Like getting these young guys some experience, getting them in the position where they're comfortable wearing the Chelsea shirt and playing with their teammates. Because you never know, we might need them in the Premier League season eventually too. So overall, guys, great performance, 4-2. You can't complain too much about it. The goals were really silly mistakes on our behalf, which has to get cleaned up. But we move on to Nottingham Forest on the weekend. One more match before another international break. I know, it's awful. It's awful. But another international break, and then the fixtures coming after that are really thick and hot. They got a lot of tough matchups. Newcastle twice, Liverpool, they're a Conference League game in there. There's a lot going on. So we'll be right with you for all that content. So please go ahead, like, subscribe, comment to this video. Let me know what you guys think about the performance. If there's anyone that I'm missing, any performance that I'm misreading, let me know what you think in the comments. So as always, thank you. Have a good night.